What's up, Math 8? Thanks so much for tuning in with another episode of Math with Mullins. Today we're going to be looking at Lesson 2.1, Day 1, solving one-step equations, and our main goal is to be able to just use addition and subtraction and then talk about solving a story problem. The first thing we want to make sure we understand is the addition property of equality and the subtraction property of equality. So the first thing for addition property of equality just means if A is equal to B, or if we want A to equal B, then we can simply add C to both sides and they'll be equivalent. So if A equals B, then A plus C would also be equal to B plus C. The same thing would be true for the subtraction property of equality. If A is equal to B, then A minus C would still be equal to B minus C. So we're going to use both of those properties in the following examples. Some of these lost their formatting in just a little bit, so we'll edit those as we go. But the first one we're going to try is this one. X minus 7 is equal to negative 6. I'm just going to rewrite this down here so we've got some more room. But what essentially we're going to do is whatever we see, we're going to use what's called the inverse operation. So whatever is happening to X, that means we're going to do the opposite. Okay, this is something you should have seen in 7th grade, so hopefully this is a review for you. But what we'll do first is put a line through our equal sign to give us a left and a right side of the equation. Since I see minus 7 over here, what I'm going to do is show the opposite, which would be an addition to 7. Because what I really want to happen is for X to be all by itself. Since I showed addition on the left side, I will also show addition on the right side, because remember that's the addition property of equality. Then I'm just going to simplify. A minus 7 and a plus 7 will cancel out because those are equal to 0, so all that's left is X. And on the right side, I have negative 6 plus 7, and that is equal to a positive 1. To check my work, all I would need to do is plug in 1 back to where X is. 1 minus 7 does equal negative 6, so I know I got it right. My next equation is this. Y plus 3.4 is equal to 0.5. Again, draw the line down the equal sign. Decide what operation are we seeing. We're seeing addition, so I'm going to use the opposite and show subtraction. I'm going to subtract 3.4 from both sides. On the left side, I have plus 3.4 and minus 3.4. Those cancel out to give me a 0, so all that's left is a y. On the right side, I have 0.5 minus 3.4, and that's going to be equal to negative 2.9. Again, just to make sure my negative 2.9 is correct, what I can do is check my work. Plug in 2.9, negative 2.9 where the y was, plus 3.4, and that is equal to 0.5 according to my calculator. Here's example 2. Maybe you can try this one. Take time now to pause the video, and when you're done checking it, or when you're done trying it, click play to check your work. All right, the first thing I'm going to do here is get h all by itself. So the one way I can do that is subtract 2 pi from both sides. A positive 2 pi and a minus 2 pi is a 0 pi, so all that's left is h. And then 3 pi minus 2 pi is 1 pi, but the best way to write that is h is equal to pi, or some of you might have changed it to 3.14. Okay, again, we can plug that in and it'll still be correct. The second one, I have a fraction here. T minus 1/4 is equal to negative 3/4. So we do want to be cautious here. The good thing is that we do have common denominators. First and foremost, I'm going to show the opposite of minus 1/4 by adding 1/4 to both sides. What I want to make sure of is I have a negative 3/4 plus 1/4. That's technically subtracting. I should get negative 2/4 is equal to t, but I want to make sure I simplify, so my answer is negative 1/2. Okay. Going on to example 3. Again, these have gotten kind of out of hand, so I'm going to rewrite these. But if you want to pause the video and try these on your own, and then click play when you're ready to check. Negative 3 is equal to k plus 3. Okay, here we go. So my first one, I have g minus 1.7 is equal to negative 0.9. I draw my line down my equal sign and start showing the opposite operation right away. the minus 1.7 plus 1.7 cancels out, so I'm left with this g, and then I have negative 0.9 plus 1.7. You could still do the same thing here and do 1.7 minus 0.9, and it'll still give you the same answer of 0.8. Because this is a positive and a negative, we need to be able to subtract. The second one, very similar, but just be very careful. Since the variable's on the right-hand side, you're now going to need to clear the right-hand side. So we're going to clear the right-hand side by subtracting 3. So on the right-hand side is cleared out now because plus 3 minus 3 zeroes out. And then the left-hand side now is negative 3 and negative 3, which is equal to negative 6. If for some reason this worries you, you can also rewrite this equation as k plus 3 is equal to negative 3, and you should still get the same result, k is equal to negative 6. Our last examples are 2 word problems. Go ahead and take time now to pause the video, read this and try it, and when you're ready, click play. All right, for number 4, it says you buy a book that costs $14.57. After paying cash after you pay cash for it, you have $12.73 left in your wallet. How much money did you have before you bought the book? So one way to do this is because I am now left with $12.73, that's what my wallet is equal to. But when I bought the book, I'm subtracting money out of my wallet, so minus 14.57. To find out how much money I did have, I'm just going to add $14.57 back to this $12.73. So 12.73 plus 14.57 would be $27.30. So X is equal to $27.30. If you haven't had time to try this next one under here, go ahead and try it. If you need to, pause the video, and when you're ready to check, click play. For this one, it says Joy earned $75 this week and now has $113. Tim earned $50 this week and now has $110. So how much did they have together last week? So what we need to do first is talk about this week. Joy now has $113 and she earned $75. So we're going to say that we added $75 to what she had. And then Tim over here, he earned $50 and now has $110. So what we need to do is solve each of their equations and then find out how much they had together. The first thing I'm going to do for Joy is I'm going to subtract 113 and 75. She had $38 last week. And then Tim, if I subtract $50 from 110, I'm getting 60. So together, they had $98 last week, just because we add both of those values together. Okay, that'll conclude our video today on lesson 2.1, day 1, how to solve equations using addition and subtraction. Tune in next time where we'll learn how to solve one-step equations using multiplying and dividing.